Two major things people do in Colorado that I describe as incompetent driving is one, if you're out of state, every state, this is more like every state has a different law about crosswalks, right? In Colorado, it's within crosswalks. So within, that means if somebody's standing on the outside and there's 30 cars behind you, they're waiting for traffic to thin because they're thinking, they know gas is expensive, you're wasting people's time. Those people are waiting on the outside of the crosswalk. That's not within the crosswalk. If somebody's within the crosswalk, you are obligated to stop. So if I'm a block away and somebody waits and then they think that they're going to wait for you to slow down, I take that as a signal that they're waiting for me to pass. A lot of people will wait till I get closer and then walk into the crosswalk. And like, you've been standing there and I'm a block and a half away. What the fuck? Or like people that walk in a line across the crosswalk instead of like a group. And you can tell they're all together. I'm not saying like you should just huddle like a bunch of chickens or pigeons in a coop when you cross a crosswalk, but don't walk one person, another person standing there. They wait for them to get halfway across the crosswalk and then you go, because you're accumulating a delay. So within crosswalk, understand the difference. It's there so that we can discern who is waiting and who isn't waiting. And then when you function like that, everything's very, very efficient, and it's averaging out efficiency over time. It's making everything just function better. Another issue is somebody is in the opposite lane and I'm going to say take a left turn, and they're coming to take that same turn and they have their right blinker on. I know that they're going to slow down because they're making a sharper turn. So I can read people's velocity extremely well. Other people probably don't have that talent, I guess. They don't see the same things. But I know that I have an extra accumulated amount of time because they're taking a sharper turn, so they have to slow down more to feel like they're taking that whatever a comfortable turn. Lateral G-force is, I think they say it's like 0.75 or something like that, right? Is a comfortable turn for most people. Just very slow. People think they have to stop for every turn. Anyway, so when you're on a road like that, I know that I can carry speed and time it, and I can do this safely, and people behind me don't have to wait for me to brake and then wait for traffic that, say, is behind that person who's taken his turn. And so once again, it's more efficient and it's safe because I am taking a larger radius turn and I have more velocity through that. So my time to turn is like a quarter of the amount of time it takes for that person to slow down and turn. And there's that huge gap in between there. And I know that I can do that safely because I do it every single day. I time it, and I've been doing it ever since I started driving. Other people then will get mad at you for this. They will honk at you, flip you off. And then one more today, every single day actually. This really irks me. When you have a 2-lane and you want to get into the opposite lane and you have to double turn. People want to double turn. You're not supposed to double turn in general. It's actually against the law. You can get ticketed for double turning if you didn't know that. Or maybe it's changed now. I don't know. Because so many people do it. Cops ignore it, which is fine. But if there's an entirely open lane right next to you and you're just staring at that and you don't understand that you have time, like for instance from our grocery store, it's a lane, and it's a street that goes all the way through town, right? And the grocery store is halfway through. Everybody wants to get into that outer lane from this intersection. But people every single day will stare at an open lane. I'll pull up next to them and I'll just go into that open lane because I know what's happening. Everybody wants to get into that because it's straight through town. So it goes from the Metro to the country road, and that goes to Boulder. Well, they will just stare at an open lane, and people need an open road. I think possibly the only thing that's worse than that is people who want to get into that lane actually, but they need both lanes to be open. Yeah, they will literally wait for both lanes to be open, and we're talking minutes sometimes. If you let them, they will just stare at open lanes. And it's, why does this bother me so much? One, I like efficiency. Two, I have a racer's reflex capacity. I mean, I just watched a video last night. My top reflex that I ever tested was 0.125. It's basically 0.11. So maybe it was 0.11, and I'm thinking an eighth of an inch for some reason. But that's really fast. And Ayrton Senna, I forget now, when he crashed, he had very similar time of braking. So before he was off the power and braking, when his drivetrain broke, they measured that time. And modern Formula One drivers will test, they'll take this game where it flashes and you have to click a button, and then that'll measure your reflex capacity. So I see things completely different than normal people. That's just me. But so I know what I can do. But other people, if you're gonna be slower, don't get mad at people because they're quicker. If you're gonna turn in that open lane and you're gonna do the merge thing, don't scream at them. Some guy was calling, he just kept repeating, "You're a bitch, pussy," or something like that, because I merged into that outer lane, and he was trying to like cut me off from merging to the outer lane, which physicists now have proven that it's more efficient to merge and to allow traffic to flow consistently because it's volume over time. But people, you just screaming at me, "Go back to Nebraska. I've lived here for 11 years. And he's just saying the same thing over and over again. And I think this is the same guy that I encountered the other night, because he had a beard in the same colored car. But the odds of encountering the same guy, that's crazy, right? Between 3 different days, he was screaming at me before for going around him in a parking lot, because he was backing out. Well, people who are going through parking lots have right away too, for one thing, in Colorado. So rather than, I got plenty of room, just like, I'm gonna go around you. He speeds up to me and is cussing me all the way across town. Same guy, big beard guy. I think I made another video mocking him, saying how just because you have a beard doesn't mean that you're a man, I guess, because boo-hoo-hoo. Anyway, so if you come to Colorado, know these things. Within a crosswalk, don't stare at an open lane. Roundabouts are not stop signs. They're designed to maintain a consistent average speed, which averages out over length, which dramatically lessens commute times. Just unbelievable. And increases gas mileage too, so